workshop. So if you're curious about that, we still do have space. But let's get started in child's pose for now. Spread your fingers out super wide on your mat and then start to take up some space and let your body settle onto the floor. Heavy hips, fingertips in the floor, edges of your thumbs down into the floor, making a connection with your physical body to what you're up to right now and for the next 60 minutes. Just take a long breath in through your nose and fill yourself all the way up. And a big exhale out. Big breath in. Exhale it out. Last one, fill up all the way. Exhale all the way. Start to build your Ujjayi breath out, 4-part breath. A long inhale with a pause at the top. And a long exhale with a pause at the bottom. Just purposeful and intentional right from the beginning of your practice. Downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back and move your body around any way you need to in your down dog. Whatever type of knee bending or head shaking or shifting around feels like the best fit this afternoon, go for it. And walk your feet up to your hands, hang in ragdoll. So you can make a box with your arms or let your arms hang down towards the floor, whatever feels best. And then round your low back up toward the ceiling to stretch out the tissue along the lower part of your back. Press into your feet, rise all the way up to standing. Reach through your fingertips, bring your thumbs to heart center. Set out intentions with 3 big alms. Take a deep breath in. Inhale, reach up, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen out your spine. High to low push-up, step back. Upward facing dog, open up your chest. Downward facing dog, press back. Take a full breath in together. Big exhale out. Good, 2 more. Breathe in, breath out. Last one, fill. Exhale completely. Look forward and move, feet to hands. Halfway lift, bow down. Extended mountain, rise up. Stretch through your fingertips, forward fold. Halfway lift, chaturanga, low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Empty it out. Full breath. Full exhale. Last one. Empty to the pit of your belly. Look forward and move. Halfway lift. Fold down. Extended mountain. Rise up. Press your feet into the mat. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Low push-up. Get each fingertip into the floor. Upward facing. Downward facing. Breathe in together. Empty it out. Breath in. Breath out. You're clearing new space. Last breath. Push all the air back out. Step or jump to the head of your mat. Halfway lift. Fold down. Extended mountain. Rise up. Stretch the fingertips. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Step or jump to the back of your mat. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in together. Big breath out. 2 more. Fill up. Press your chest to your thighs on your exhale. Yes. Last one. Empty completely. Move forward. Halfway lift. Fold down. Last on A. Rise up to standing and reach. Forward fold. Halfway lift. chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 big breaths. In, press your fingertips down on your exhale. Breathe in. Breath out. Softness to the backs of your knees. 1 more breath. Empty completely. Move forward. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose and stay. Keep the breath going, but sit way back in your hips, so far back that you can lift your toes off of the floor. Yeah. Lift and spread your toes off of the floor. Good. 1 more inhale. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Keep building the breath pose by pose. Upward facing. Downward facing. Right side warrior 1. Step through. You've got 1 big breath to reach up. Chaturanga. Hands to the mat. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side warrior 1. 1 breath. Take the shape and reach. Low push up. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Breath in together. Big breath out. Good. 2 more. Fill. Exhale. Last one. Empty completely. Step or jump forward. Halfway lift. Bow down. Chair pose. 1 breath this time. Reach. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Low push up. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right side warrior 1. Take a big step and stretch up and away. Low push up. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Left side, step it through. Plug your feet into the mat. Chaturanga. Inhale up. Exhale down. Breath in together. Empty it out. Good. 2 more. Fill and empty. Last breath. Empty to the pit of your belly. Look forward and move. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose. Way back in your hips. Fold. Halfway lift. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior 1 right side. Take a deep lunge in that front leg. Low push up. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Left side. Warrior 1. Step, press, look up. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing. Breathe in together. Big breath out. You got it. Breath in. Get empty. Last one. Exhale completely. Move forward. Halfway lift. Fold down. Last sun B. Chair pose. Fold. Halfway lift. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior 1 on the right. Step it through. Plug your big toe mounds into the mat. Low push up. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left side, step it through. Press the feet into the mat. Chaturanga. Inhale, up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hello, hi, welcome to Tuesday. Send your right leg straight up and back. Bend your knee and open your hip. You can stay here 3-legged or flip your dog and go all the way over. Take your breath with you, whether you're 3-legged or you're in the flip dog. Full connection to the ground, wide open space across your chest. Flip back over, side plank, plant the right palm, send the left hand up to the sky. Create the base of the side plank however it needs to be. A knee down, a leg in the air, a combination of both. Set your gaze right on one spot. 1 more breath. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Send your left leg up to the sky. Bend your knee and open your hip. Stay or flip your dog. Know that whatever variation you're choosing is the right one. You're just doing the best you can and seeing what the pose has to offer just in this one moment. Beautiful. Flip back over, side plank. Left hand down, right arm up. Create the foundation of the pose so you're stable and balanced, then gaze right on one spot. Last breath together. Chaturanga, hands to the mat. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Now take a deep breath in together and sigh it out. Yeah, even louder. Breath in and sigh. One more. Exhale completely. Step or jump forward. Halfway lift. Fold down. Chair pose. Sit deep. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Step or jump. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side crescent lunge. Step right into it. So up on the ball mound of your back foot with your heel straight up toward the ceiling. And if you need to stretch out the space between your feet front to back, just make an adjustment. How's your breathing here? Steady and rhythmic. Come lower into your lunging leg. Yes. Press up higher with your back thigh. Beautiful. Keep the strength in your legs, the strength in the foundation of the pose. Bring your hands to heart center. Twist right. Elbow outside your knee. You can stick with palm to palm or open your arms. Eyes glued to one spot. Just let the breath flow in and out of your body, and whatever comes up, you stay and see what there is to see. Take one more breath together. Stay for the exhale and twist it out. Warrior two, face the opposite way. May take some scooting of your front foot over to the side or the middle of your mat so it's in line with your back arch, and then lunge deep. And if you can't hear your neighbor breathing, breathe a little bit louder. Bring them into the practice with you. Extended side angle. Drop your elbow to your thigh or your fingertips down by your front arch. And you can add on whatever variation's calling to you. Maybe it's a bind and you take your top arm behind your back. Maybe you reach both arms out in front of you and create a core exercise in this extended side angle. Nice. Everybody soften your toes on your front foot. Yes. And press the center of your front heel down instead. One more inhale. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot through. Crescent lunge. Crescent lunge. And start with what's touching the ground and just work your way up your body. So the toes, the whole sole of the front foot, the pit of your belly, pull that in and up like you're zipping up too tight pants. You lift the front of your pelvis up to your belly button. Hands to heart center, twist left. Can you keep that in and up action in the pit of your belly? You lift it in and up off of your thighs. So it can still touch, but the muscles are pulling into center. Open your arms. Check in with your back foot. Get even the pinky toe on your back foot. Nice, Cindy. Right down into the mat. Take one more breath in. Stay for the exhale. Twist, twist, twist. Warrior two. Land in your feet and then adjust the lunge so your knees stacked right over your front ankle. And if your knee's coming past that front ankle, just take a longer stance front to back. Extended side angle, elbow to thigh or fingertips to arch. Tap into the breathing. And then if you'd like to add a variation, go for it. And know that the variations are there to add a piece or to refine a piece of the practice. It's not that one's better than the other. You're doing what fits for right now in this particular practice. Last breath in, chaturanga. Woof, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Big exhale. Good, breath in, breath out. Last breath. Exhale completely. Step or jump forward. Halfway lift. Bow down. Chair pose and stay. Get settled back into your hips. You're about to sit into a chair, all of your weight going back, and someone pulls a chair from out behind you. Hands to heart twist right. Low in the hips, high in the chest. Open up your arms. Yeah, and the more you want to twist over to the side, the lower you sit into your hips to create space for that. Stay here in the work of it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chair pose. Forward fold. Take your first 2 fingers around your big toes, and you can take your feet mat width distance or bend your knees to make that happen. And set your gaze at the back edge of your mat. Heavy head. Yeah, good adjustments. You might even shake out your head, yes and no, if it feels like you let your head go, just to make sure. Oftentimes we're like, yeah, I got that. And then your head's still really tight and rigid while you hold your head up. Release your hands, bring your feet back together, squat down for chair pose. Down and back, far enough back that you're right at the tipping point of losing your balance and tipping backwards. Hands to heart, twist left. Spread your arms apart. Spread your fingertips apart. That spreading goes from collarbones all the way out to either fingertips. Stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chair pose. Fold. Gorilla this time. Step on your palms, toes up to your wrists. Yeah, bend your knees a little or a lot. I'm a really big fan of laying my stomach on my thighs in this pose, like bending my knees deeply and just letting it sink. Heavy head. Release your hands. Take crow pose from the head of your mat. Any variation of crow is on the table. Spread your fingers out super wide. Press them into the floor intentionally. Before you even lift your feet off the floor, that intention of pressing the floor away. Then maybe the feet come up and maybe they don't. Maybe you take it to an inversion, but either way, fingertips in the floor. Nice. One more breath in. Step or jump back, low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Big breath in together. Clear it out. Breathe in. Breath out. Last one. Clear all the air. Step or jump forward. Halfway lift. Bow down. Rise all the way up to standing. Eagle pose, right side. Right arm under, right leg over. The balancing poses are your first opportunity to come up for air and like set your gaze on a point in front of you. Now things are different. You've cleared some space. Your body's warmed up. Keep your eyes focused on one point, left side eagle. Left arm under, left leg over. If the balance gets away from you on either side, you reset the pose. Cool. Come back to the pose. Right side, second set. Eyes glued. Can you keep your eyes focused on one point as you change from side to side? Left side, eagle. Bring the breathing into it. Resist the urge to hold the breath to help hold the balance. The balance can be wobbly. Don't worry about that part. Breath is more important. Standing leg raise. Right side, grab a hold of your right raised knee or your extended right foot. Pause here and center. A nice tall spine. Flex your lifted ankles so you can wake up that lifted foot. Yes, huge difference. And by doing that, you wake up the muscles in the leg and make it lighter. Open to the right, reach and look left. You reset the pose as many times as you need to, not worried about whether or not the foot touches the floor, but concentrating on just coming back to the thing. Back to center. Take airplane. Press your foot straight back. Get super long in your body, out through the front of your chest and out through the sole of your foot. Nice, Chuck. Squeeze your shoulder blades together on your back. And take half moon. Left hand towards the floor, right hand up to the sky. You can put your hand on a block or on a water bottle to help bring the floor up to you. Flex your lifted ankle a lot to help keep that balance. You've got one more breath here. Both feet to the mat. Standing leg raise on the left. Blocks for the other side. Grab a hold of the knee, hold of the foot. And pause here in the center, especially if you've got the urge to open it up right away because that feels easier for you. Stay in the work of the leg straight out in front. I know it's not my favorite either, but it's really good for your hamstrings. Slowly open left, reach and look right. So that's something to notice whether you're brand new to the practice or you've been practicing for decades. Come back to center, take airplane. When you put the attention on just one pose at a time, any part of the practice becomes manageable. Because you have insight by listening to what your body's doing, what it's asking for, where it needs more, where it needs a little less. Half moon, right hand down to the block or the floor, left hand up to the sky. Nice. Keep your eyes on one spot to help keep your balance. Big inhale, both feet to the floor. Standing bow or dancer's pose, right side. If you're taking standing bow, make sure you turn the soft crease of your elbow out to grab the inside of your ankle. Take your pose, tip forward. Keep a little bit of softness in your standing knee so you can really get the inner edge of your standing foot. Nice, Andrea. Down into the floor. So the whole foot can stabilize your balance. One more breath. Switch sides. Soft crease of the elbow out. Take your pose. Keep softness in the standing knee, water in the joint so the muscle around the joint can do the work. Good adjustments. One more inhale. Feet to the floor. Right side, second set. Standing bow or dancers if you want to switch to dancers with a strap. You work the kinks out on the first one and then create a little bit more space on this second one. What will shift the pose the most? Is it your foot higher up in the air or you shifting further forward in space? Switch. Rather than trying to make the pose as big as humanly possible, choose one thing to focus on instead that will help increase the space you're taking up. It'll ramp up the energy in the pose because you've made this tiny shift. Both feet to the floor. Tree pose, right side. Right foot above or below your knee, hands start at heart center. Interlace your fingers, press your palms straight forward and then up toward the ceiling. So pause for a moment. One of two things is going to be happening with almost everyone in the room. Either your ribs are splaying out because your arms are up, knit those back together, or your shoulders are way high up by your ears. Just bend your elbows a little bit and drop the shoulders. Yeah, it could be both. Sometimes it's both. Keep playing with those two things. The ribs into center, shoulders down the back. One more breath. Both feet to the mat. Left side tree. Hands start at your heart, then interlace the fingers the opposite way, the way that feels a little bit weird. Palms forward, up to the ceiling. Then make your adjustments. Ribs knit together. Just the very front of the ribs, not collapsing the whole rib cage, but like you've got shoelaces on the front of your ribs and you're just tightening the shoelaces. Nice, Kelly, just like that. One more breath. Feet to the floor. Extended mountain. Reach your hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga, step or jump back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath in together. Big exhale. Breathe in. Breath out. Beautiful. One more. Empty completely. Right side triangle. Step your right foot between your hands. A big step, like you're taking up your entire mat front to back. Then you can have your bottom arm down on your shin or on the block outside your shin. I like using the block because it gives me more room to stretch out in triangle. Then add in the breathing. See if you can get the outer edge of your back foot further into the floor. Press it down and root. Now your front big toe mound right into the mat. Yes, Evelyn, like that. Use the strength of your feet to press your way up to standing. Then side facing wide leg forward fold. Turn both feet to face the long edge of the mat and fold forward. We'll take a twist on this side this afternoon. So plant your right palm on the floor. Send your left hand straight up to the sky. So to get the maximum amount of twist here, your spine has to be as long as possible from crown to tailbone. Nice. Switch hands. Left hand down. Right arm straight up to the sky. Squeeze your shoulder blades together on your back. Good. Back to center. Rise all the way up to standing. Namaste, front facing forward fold, facing the front edge of your mat. And then take a bind behind your back. You can take hand to elbow or reverse namaste behind you. Hinge forward. Right at the hips, hinge forward. So that same idea of lengthening your spine like you intend to hook your chin on your front big toe instead of touching your forehead to your knee. Much longer. Take up all that space. Nice. Those of you with the bind behind your back, see if you can hug your shoulder blades together. Yeah, there you go. Release that bind. Twisting triangle or twisting split. Left hand down, right arm straight out. Ring yourself out to the side of the room. Splits, there's a bunch of different ways to do that twist, using the block, using your leg, or just looking over the shoulder. One more breath here. High to low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side triangle. Step your left foot through. And take up your whole mat so both legs can be long and straight. Block or shin. Then reconnect into the feet. Outer edge of the back foot into the ground. So much so that you might even lift your back arch depending on how high your arch is. There's that sense of it lifting and pulling into the sole of your foot. Soften the front toes. And press into the soles of your feet. Rise up to standing. Side facing wide leg forward fold. This time with a bind. Clasp your hands at your low back, or you could put a towel or a strap between your hands. It's nice to have the extra space if your shoulders are tight. Then hinge forward. How's your breathing here? It's that point in practice where you're like, I've been breathing a lot already. I got it. And I'm just going to take a break from it. Stick with the breathing because you've already worked a lot of space open for more breath. There's room for the heat to circulate and room for the breath to circulate. Make it intentional. Release your hands down. Rise all the way up to standing. Namaste, front facing forward fold, or splits if you took it on the right. Take the bind behind your back. Hinge forward, lead with your chest. Now in both poses, splits and the namaste fold, square your hips. So that means pulling the left hip back and pulling the right hip forward so they're both pointing straight ahead. And you'll know you've hit the right spot because your hamstrings are like, hey, what's up? When you square your hips. Twisting triangle or twisting split. Your body's really smart. It likes to try and do most of the thing with the least amount of effort possible, so it'll pull you out of deeper stretches to do less work. Square your hips and stay in the work. One more breath. High to low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in together. Empty it out. Full breath. Big exhale. Last one. Empty completely. Roll out to a high plank. Stack your shoulders right on top of your wrists. So you've got options. You can keep your knees up or lower your knees to the mat and keep the plank in your upper body. As slowly as you can, lower your whole body to the floor. Everything touches at the same time. Good work. Locust pose, hands back by your hips. Palms face the floor so you can hug your shoulder blades together. Peel up and away from the mat. Lift your chest, your shoulders, your legs. And squeeze in nice and narrow. Hug your inner thighs together. Good. Pull your outer shins into center like I'm squeezing them in and you're resisting it with your leg muscles. One more breath. Lower down. Rock your hips out left and right. Locust round 2. Hands can stay where they are. You can clasp them behind your back. Rise up. Use the hands if they're clasped to pull your chest forward and slide those shoulder blades together on your back. Nice. Now send energy out through your feet like you want to touch the wall behind you. Good. One more inhale. Lower down. Hips side to side. Floor bow, number 1 of 2. So you can take both ankles or one at a time. Bend your knees and grab your ankles and then march your thighs back together so they're parallel. If grabbing both ankles feels like it's too much on your low back, just take one leg at a time. Rise up and away from the floor. Press back with your shins. Use your powerful legs, the muscle to bone connection on your legs to help lift you up and away. Lower down. Legs side to side like windshield wipers. Second set, switch legs or grab both ankles again. Rise up. Away from the mat with a broad open chest. A purposeful expansion across the entire front side of your body. Last inhale, lower down. Take it side to side. Upward facing dog, rise up off the mat, pause in the up dog. Press the tops of your feet into the floor to help lift your legs off the ground. Downward facing dog, press back. Lower your knees for camel. 2 camels this afternoon. So if you want to take half camel, that's on the table. For camel pose, you can tuck or untuck your toes and back. Start with your hands on your low back. Lift your chest up to the ceiling and start to tip your way back. So you go back as far as feels comfortable for your low back. And if you've got extra space and can drop your hands down to your heels, great, go for it. You're going for space, not crowding of the low back to make the back bend look bigger, because the back bend happens mostly in the upper part of your spine. Rise up and out. Sit back on your heels, high hero. You can untuck your toes if you want and sit on the tops of your feet. Rise back up. Camel number 2. Up and out through the chest. The higher up you get through the center of your chest, the more room you have to go back. So if you're working on a deeper back bend here, it comes from the length from knees up and out through the chest. It comes from space in the low back so the spine can stretch out long. Good. Next inhale, rise up. Sit back on your heels, high hero. Doing the work, folks. Swing your legs around, come down onto your back for bridge. You can stick a block between your thighs if you like that squeezing in action. And lift up. Lift your hips all the way up to your chest. You can clasp your hands underneath you or take cactus arms and press your arms into the floor that way. Active choice with your feet and your shoulders straight into the floor like the feet on a table. Some of you have your feet pretty wide. Make them hip width distance. Yeah, walk them in a little bit and then settle the feet on the floor. Press down. Big inhale together. Lower down. Knees left and right. Stick with bridge or move on to wheel pose. If you're taking wheel, tuck your fingertips under your shoulders, press into your palms and rise up. Big, open back bend. Plug your big toe mound straight into the floor. Then tuck your chin and lower down. Breathe in together. Breath out together. Press, lift, go. Wheel or bridge. You choose the pose and you can alternate them if you want. Heart wide open. Come on down. Breath in. Breath out. Press, lift, go. Bridge or wheel. You just keep coming into the pose because you've done the work and you've got the space to make this happen. Then come on down. Breathe in together. Breathe out together. Rise up. Bridge or wheel. You got this. Fingertips and feet fully involved. Come on down. Full breath. Big exhale. Rise up. Bridge or wheel. You got two more. Two more. Eyes set right on one spot. Come on down. Full breath. Full exhale. Last one, yogis. Last bridge. Last wheel. Come up. Come up. Stick it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down. Supta Baddha Konasana. Press the soles of your feet together. Hands wherever you want to put your hands. Let your knees drop out. Let them be heavy. How's your breathing here? With your heart pumping and the blood moving, the heat moving. How's your breath? Take dead bugs, soles of the feet up to the sky, then grab the edges of your feet or the backs of your thighs. Edges of the feet or the backs of the thighs to help coax your knees closer toward the mat. Legs straight up in the air. Set up for scissor legs. Hands under your hips or hands behind your head. Lower your right leg about halfway to the floor, low enough that you can still keep your low back in contact with the mat. So it'll be different across the room and across the screens at home. Take a breath in. Exhale, switch both legs. Stay right here. Breathe in. Exhale, switch. Stay and breathe in. Exhale, switch. Keep switching on the exhale. Resist the urge to make it go a little bit faster so your legs don't have to do as much work. And then the breath gets out of sync with the body. You want those two working together. Keep going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs straight up. Hands can stay where they are. Move to under your hips for support. Lower both legs 30 degrees. Pause right here at 30. Give yourself the time to squeeze your inner thighs together and flex your ankles. Yes. Lower 60. This is the harder one, I know. Squeeze in best you can. Inner thighs in towards center. Lower to hover. Lift your shoulders and look at your toes. Flutter kick your feet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs up. Woo. Okay, belly down, shoulders down. Get yourself situated. Round 2. Lower 30 and pause. Right here, squeeze in. Long legs. Press out through the feet. Lower 60. Stay and squeeze. Belly down to the mat. Lower to hover. Flutter kicks. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs straight up. All right, one more set. You got this. Lower 30 and pause. Wrap everything into center. Pull it down towards the floor. Lower 60. Yes. Press out through the soles of your feet. Lower to hover. Flutter kicks last time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs straight up. Knees into your chest. Good stuff. Hands behind your head. Abdominal twists. Elbow to opposite knee. Go for it. Your pace, a pace that matches your breathing. So body and breath are in line with one another. Keep going for 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees into your chest. Rock forward and back. Make your way up to boat pose. Last stability pose. Like a capital letter V, up and away from the mat. Hands can be behind your legs or out to the side. Knees can be bent or straight. Good. Now everybody spread your chest out nice and broad. There you go. 3 breaths here together. In, exhale and squeeze in. Number 2, fill and squeeze. Good. Last one. Hug in. Downward facing dog. Make your way there. Step back, cartwheel back, however you want to get there. And from your downward facing dog, right side half pigeon. Bring your right knee to your right wrist. Right knee to right wrist, and then set yourself up. You can rest your forehead on a block or stack your fists and rest your forehead on your fists. You want your thigh parallel with the edge of the mat, and then you decide how far forward you bring the shin. Depends on your range of flexibility in your hips. A place for the forehead to rest. Let it go. Steady, rhythmic breath. It took all of the poses you've already done to get to this pose where opening can happen. Oftentimes people will ask me who aren't really in the yoga community and don't practice really at all, why don't you do the stretching part in the beginning? Because you can't. I mean, you could, but your body wouldn't be warm and you could hardly stretch anywhere and your brain would be full of who knows what. You got to burn all that stuff off, make some heat, move stuff out, and then there's space for opening. Space for something new. Few more breaths here in your half pigeon. You can stay right where you are or take king pigeon by bending your back knee and grabbing a hold of your ankle or back foot. That'll just add a quad stretch for you. Downward facing dog, shake it out. Left side half pigeon, left knee to left wrist. A place for your forehead to rest. And put your attention on your hips for a moment and square your hips to the floor. It's a little tricky when you're not specifically looking at it, but if it feels like you've got one hip hiked up way higher than the other, see if you can balance them out a bit. Add more breath. Steady and intentional breathing. And as your mind wanders away, which it will, that's fine. As soon as you notice, make your way back on your mat, mentally back on your mat. Stay or king pigeon. Downward facing dog, shake it out. Seated wide leg fold is next. Take a seat on your mat. Legs out as wide as feels comfortable. Toes up to the ceiling. You can bend your knees a little or a lot and then walk yourself down through center. Now, for some of you, this feels super comfortable. You're like, cool, I could just lay flat on my face on the floor. I am not in that camp. I am with you that are struggling to get 2 inches forward. So wherever you fall on that spectrum of sitting upright or folding flat on the ground, let there be breath. Because when you do deeper stretches like this and there's breathing happening, it lets your muscles know everything's cool. We're just going to go a little bit deeper. When you hold your breath or you try and force a deeper stretch, that's when the muscles go, no, you don't know what you're doing. We're going to stop. Let your body be at ease so more space is possible. Point your toes up to the ceiling. Yeah. Some of you are pretty close to the floor and you might be able to do tortoise pose, which means you'll slide your arms underneath your knees. Yeah, Kristen's demonstrating it here in the front. That's tortoise. Olivia, you might have space for tortoise. Something new. I like to offer that pose even though I'm not even close to doing it myself because, you know, something new. Who knows? Something to work towards maybe. A few more breaths here. Yeah, there you go. Slowly make your way back up. You might use your hands to bend your knees and lift your legs back to center. Then seated single leg extension is next. Right leg stays straight out, left heel in towards your right thigh. Fold over your extended leg. Toes up to the ceiling. Stay right here. Everyone take a long breath in, sigh, and fold forward. Yeah. Rise up, switch sides. Left leg out, right heel in. Fold forward. The point of the pose is to stretch the long back line of your body from your heel, up your leg, up your spine, and up your neck. So whether your face is touching your foot or not, if the stretch is happening, the pose is happening. Deep breath in, stay and sigh. Rise up, seated forward fold, both legs straight out in front. Fold over both legs. Here's another opportunity to bend your knees a lot and lay your stomach on your thighs and round forward. I'm definitely someone who holds tension in my neck and stress in my neck, so just letting a head hang heavy towards the legs feels amazing. Long stretch. Tabletop or reverse plank. Rise up, plant your hands behind your hips. Fingertips face the front edge of your mat so your elbows can bend straight back. Rise up. Tabletops with bent knees, long legs for the planks. If dropping your head back feels like too much for your neck, you can look down the front of your body towards your knees or your feet. Deep inhale, lift your hips, lower down. Fish pose is next. You can tuck your hands underneath you or use a block. For the block, you want it right in the upper part of your spine where the bottom of the block is hitting the bottom of your rib cage and the upper parts between your shoulder blades. Let the top of your head come down to the floor. Yeah, and if this is not a pose you do frequently, it might take a little bit of moving around or getting up and readjusting the block. That's fine. Take the time to do that. You want this to be sustainable in that your head's not being super heavy, your hips are rooted on the floor. So the openness that's happening in your chest is more of a passive stretch because you've got the blocker hands underneath you. Take one more breath together. Exhale it out. Make your way onto your back. Roll off to the side of the block or untuck your hands. Last opportunity to get upside down. You've got waterfall on your back with your legs in the air. Shoulder stand by way of plow pose. So you'll take your legs overhead behind you and then up to the ceiling for shoulder stand. Those of you headed to headstand and handstand land, go right ahead. You're choosing something intentionally, purposefully, to get upside down this one last time. Nice control, everybody. Stay with that. That's slow, steady control. Headstands, handstands. You've got another breath or two, and then a child's pose or high hero to reset. Shoulder stands, take plow. Let your legs drop back behind you. And keep your hands on your low back if the feet don't quite touch the floor. That's fine. Just keep your hands there for support. Plow to Deaf Yogi. Bend your knees, hug them around the sides of your head, and let your spine round forward. It's like a ragdoll spine towards the front edge of your mat. Slowly make your way down, piece by piece. Oops. Hug your knees into your chest, give them a squeeze. Drop your knees over to the right. Twist and look left, supine twist. Supine twist, opposite way. You may need to scoot the bottom hip a little bit underneath you so your hips are stacked and the whole twist can happen in your spine. Supta Baddha Konasana. Come back to center one final time. Press the soles of your feet to touch. If you're in studio, you've got a cold eye towel by the upper corner of your mat, and you can put that wherever you want. Shavasana. Stretch out your legs nice and long, arms long by your side. Take up some space. And take one last breath in. Fill yourself up and up and up. Exhale it out. Let your entire body rest easy on your mat. Deepen your breath. Bring some movement back into your hands and your feet. And plant your feet on the floor and rock onto your right side. With your eyes still closed, press down and rise up. Take a comfortable seat. Inhale, reach your hands overhead. Exhale, thumbs to heart center. We'll finish our practice together with 3 final ohms. Deep breath in. Deep breath in. Exhale it out. Thumb knuckles to forehead center. Thank you all so much taking time out of your Tuesday to get on your mat and get up to something with me. Namaste. Good work, everybody. Sweaty and toasty, just the way I like it. If anyone has any questions about the inversion workshop or access or really anything at all, let me know because I hopefully have all the answers for you. Have an awesome rest of your day. And if you want to catch me again, the last time is tomorrow at 12 p.m. Have an awesome rest of your evening.